Hello, it's Rob Cornish, and this is a very short video just to say a few words of my experience working with Gary White. Gary helped me on my book, this one here, Evergreen Passive Income, and I know there's a lot of testimonials. A lot of Gary's very well known in the kind of book funnel, book publishing industry. So I'm not going to go on a big list here, but there's just a couple of things that I found personally that was super helpful, which might be useful to you if you're considering working with Gary. So the first thing really is his unique position in the market. If you think about it, there are a very small number of people in the world, on the whole planet, who have such a perspective that Gary has. Because very few people see so many different book funnels and test so many different strategies. So the phrase game changer is overused. I'm not particularly a big fan of it, but it's as close. Some of the insights that Gary was able to give to me and that I embedded and implemented in my book funnel were as close to a game changer as you can probably get. Now, I could have obviously tested that myself, probably would have cost a few $1,000s at the minimum and probably 6 months, or maybe I wouldn't have tested those things at all and would just be none the wiser. So to have that level of insight and knowledge based on actually at the coalface experience that Gary's gained through working in all sorts of different markets online, with physical books and book funnels is just invaluable. And to have that from day one before you launch is just brilliant. So my average order value for the whole book funnel was just sky high on the launch and has remained really good as well. Now that wouldn't have been anywhere near as high if I hadn't worked with Gary, because I just wouldn't have known. It would just be impossible to know, right? It's not about intelligence. It's just about the actual having the knowledge in the first place. So Gary's input for me in terms of that was just through the roof. It was absolutely brilliant. So that's the first thing that I'd encourage you to think about. And as I say, if you think about it, I mean, who else has got that level of knowledge? Because there's very few actual specialists that do this day in, day out and really have that data to know what works best. The second thing is actually very simple and it's a bit more personal. But what I would say is that, and you'll find this, if you spend even 10 minutes on a Zoom call with Gary, I think this will resonate with you, that Gary's a great listener. And a lot of coaches and consultants are excellent people. They work very hard and they get great knowledge and insight and so on. But after a while, they can become a little bit not jaded, but a little bit in the groove, and they tend to turn up and kind of go through the motions. They know what works, and they kind of end up imposing a fixed sort of one-size-fits-all model on you. Now that may be great, it may be the right decision, but that can feel, it may not be entirely suitable for your personal circumstances, how your business works, or the way you want to run your business. So the great thing with Gary is that I found that he was able to listen to me, what my objectives are, how I like to do things, and then mold the information and the strategies and the implementation around the way I'd like to operate. And I think that's a wonderful thing. It's a little bit nuanced and a little bit subtle, I know, but that just makes you feel good and makes you happier day to day in your business. And that's such an underrated thing, because if you're resonating with what you've set up, and you feel comfortable with it, that makes you happier day to day. It breeds inspiration, motivation, and ultimately builds and maintains the momentum you need to keep going up. So a little bit more subtle on that second point, but I think Gary's ability to listen first and then prescribe based on the specific circumstance rather than having a one-size-fits-all model is very valuable indeed. And like I say, I think if you even have a 10-minute chat with Gary, you'll probably see what I mean. quite different to a lot of other coaches and consultants. So there you go. I know, as I said, Gary's got tons of testimonials, quite rightly. Everyone sings his praises. He's very well known in the industry, and all of that's great. But I just wanted to give you a couple of insights which maybe you haven't heard so much elsewhere. So that's it from me. I hope this helps. If you're on the fence, honestly, it's a no-brainer. Go and hit Gary up. Have a conversation with him, and if you do work with him, my prediction would be 6 months down the line, you'll look back and almost certainly think, this is the best thing I ever did. I'm so glad that I did it. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day. Talk soon.